Hello, 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 everyone. Thanks all for joining us for today's webinar, where we're going to be talking to you about get your business noticed with a great brand identity. And I'm thrilled that you're all here. I'm thrilled that we have awesome guests talking to us today and sharing their knowledge and vast experience in e-commerce. I hope you've all joined us, can hear us well. Today we have two awesome guests. I'm joined today by Magdalena Koblańska from GetResponse, who's our e-commerce specialist, working very closely with content marketing and product development. And she's got past experience in running an e-commerce business and building e-commerce shops. She's a very creative, artsy person, and I know she actually can share a lot of cool insights with us today. And we've also got Magda Sowierszenko, who's the head of brand and communications at Packhelp. For those of you who don't know what Packhelp is a platform for ordering and managing custom packaging, trusted by over 50,000 European brands. And Magda oversees the company's brand strategy, partnerships, and external communication. And some side note information: she's a beginning Muay Thai fighter, which I haven't told her about, but I've used to do it myself in the past, and I do really hope that one day I'll return to this because this is probably one of the coolest sports out there. So really cool, really cool interest here. But let's cut to the chase and go over the topic for today. Let me see if you shared where you're joining us from Toronto, Ohio, Atlanta, Dallas, Texas. Awesome. I do hope that you have much better weather. We got just text message alert with information about the storm in the local area, so I do hope it will not cut us off. But today's plan is that we will be live, we will be running everything smoothly, and it will take us about 1 hour to go over today's topic. As for the recording, yes, today's session is recorded, and we will be sharing the recording with you shortly. Ideally, we'll send it to you tomorrow. If not, we'll do it early next week. And by all means, ask us questions during the whole presentation. In a moment, I'll be hiding myself in the chat pod over there, along with our friends at Packhelp. So feel free to ask us questions throughout the whole presentation, but also at the end of this presentation, we'll have this dedicated Q&A session where you can ask us anything and everything that you're interested in. Before I pass on the microphone to my awesome guests, let me just ask you one more question. So I have this quick survey that I'd like to run with you today, run by you. And this is supposed to help us in creating content, today's content, but also our future content, webinars, presentations, articles, and stuff. So we want to really learn what level of knowledge, of expertise you have in today's topic. And so this is one simple question: have you ever taken any steps to create your brand identity? We'll be talking about what brand identity is and how you can establish it, how you can do it properly. So don't worry if you don't know what that is. This is why we're meeting with you today. So let us just wait a few more moments for everyone to answer the question. We've got 32% fill out on the survey. So let's give us a few more seconds. I can see that we've got actually quite an equal split between yes, no, and not sure. So we have a quite versatile group, but we're not. Will cater to all your needs today. So I think we can shut down the survey now. I'm gonna share the results with you just now, so you can also see who our today's guests are, who you're gonna be sharing the chat with us today. And let's go back to the presentation. Let me stop sharing the results. And I'm going to pass the microphone now to Magdalena from our team, who will be sharing her insights today. And as promised, I'm in the chat pod, so feel free to ask us questions anyway throughout the whole presentation.
Yeah, hi guys, great to see you here today. Thank you for coming. And I want to briefly get you a feeling what the brand identity is, how you can build it, how you can approach it, so you don't feel overwhelmed with the topic, and hopefully you can get a few ideas after the webinar. So let's start with defining what exactly is brand identity. And in short, this is the personality you want to show to your clients and to other businesses of your firm, of your business. This is also a kind of a promise to your customers and to your coworkers and to your business partners. This is what your brand stands for and represents. It's not just the visual side, but it's also how you communicate, what are your values, and how you want others to perceive your brand. So the details would be in everything you design to define your brand, to represent your brand, and to take your brand out to the world and show it to other people. We have a few things here that are elements of brand identity, uh, and the first and foremost would be the logo and the name. But I will show you a few examples today that if you have a logo or a name or both, that is not the best, that you don't feel that is super marketable, it doesn't really matter. If you have already established name, you don't have to change it in any way to fit a brand identity. You can build around it. The consistency is the most important thing here. So you don't have to rebuild your brand, but what you want to focus on instead is to create a image, a visuals, and content image of your brand that you want to continue with. So apart from logo and name, you also have the color palette, and this is especially useful if you create some one color palette you want to use throughout all your communication, so it's coherent and easily identifiable. Also, other visuals like photos you use, like typography you use, and every other design element you use on your shop, in your leaflets, on your business cards, and everything around graphic design. Also, brand values. If you state your brand values, if you state your mission, if you state the About Us section of your page, this also comes to play when you create a brand identity. So it's great to share your story, but also focus on key points you want to show there for other people to be able to find. Product attributes and product pages are also very helpful in building brand identity, because you can show your customers not only what they're buying from you, but also what kind of vibe you want to convey with the products that you sell. This also goes with the website design, which is obviously the most notable presence online your brand will have, and email communication that is continued from that throughout the internet. Also, social media feed is one of the things you want to have coherent with your whole brand identity. And when you take the online activities and turn them into offline activities to give this smooth transition, you will have also the huge opportunity into packing if you send your products to your customers, because they will handle it physically each time they'll order from you. So we'll cover all of those today briefly. Um, how to build your brand identity. If you haven't even started, then it may feel a bit overwhelming. But the key point thing would be to find the main theme that you want to associate with your brand. I will show you in a moment a few examples, and those examples will show you how an idea, a feel, a vibe is taken to represent a brand. Not always that this idea is what the brand is all about, but sometimes it's just how they want to present themselves. And I will show you a very prominent example of that. Also, decide what feeling you want your customers or your visitors to feel when they visit your page, when they open an email for you. Decide if you want to have them excited, if you want to have them feel educated, or maybe if you just want to have them relax. It's important to convey a message that you would like to open yourself and that will fit what your brand is all about. Uh, that's also a great idea to check what direction your competitors are taking. You don't have to follow them, but you have to know what they're doing. So if you stand out with something very special from your competition, that is a key to emphasize the fact that you stand out from the crowd. But if there is some main topic or main trend that is working for your competitors, then you may uh, think of including them. Not You don't have to go all for the popular themes, but you can take the piece that will work for your brand, for you, and incorporate it into your message. Uh, if you have that thing set, then creating a set of visuals will be helpful to for you to create other elements. So if you have a logo and a name and a typography and a color scheme, then you can design pretty much every element I just spoke about and that was mentioned in the previous slide. So when you start designing it, have a little base that will always help you to know what direction you should be going. Also, as I mentioned, be sure, if it's possible, to carry this from online to offline to create a coherent vision of the brand. And now the promised examples. I've collected three, let's say, adventurous brands that show themselves to the world as exciting, outgoing, adventurous, and they use a few very simple visuals. Let's start on the right with Jack Wolfskin, and they are using the same motto for very many years, and they put it on their clothes, on the labels, and on their websites and emails, and that's at home, outdoors, and it's basically all the brand stands about. They create the outdoor equipment, and from a very literal meaning of this word, so for example, camping equipment, to lifestyle items that are not directly connected to outdoors. It could be just any trainers, but they call it an outdoor trainer because it's branded by Jack Wolfskin. But they have this very strong uh, brand identity of an adventurous uh, brand that will take you on a journey. Another brand that is showing right away what you're getting into is Red Bull. And they, despite the fact that their main product is just an energy drink, which is really something that has nothing to do with sports, it's super unhealthy and stuff. They also sponsor very many sports team, including Formula One team and including very many outdoor sports. So they created a merchandise around each of those disciplines, and they're selling tons of stuff, probably even more than the uh, energy drink is bringing through the brands that are supporting, that are independent sports team under their brand. So if you open their page, you see exactly what you're getting yourself into. You have some dirt, you have some, I think he's in the air on a bike or on a motorbike or something, and some people in the background that are enjoying this kind of activity. So with one very powerful picture, they set a tone for whole the brand. And the last example I have for you of this adventurous brand is actually a photo of my own backpack. And this is a little label that the North Face, another outdoor company, direct competitor of the Jack Wolfskin, uh, they put this inside the backpack. Each and every backpack has a little story about the brand. Look how smoothly they take the online to the offline. And at the end, it asks you, where will it take you? So it's kind of reversed process when the backpack is taking you places and not you taking the backpack. So they are very bold with this statement and very clever because when you buy a product like a backpack, it should serve you a few years at least. And you will see this each time you open it. So they make sure you associate the company with, they have some keywords here like travel, lifestyle, adventure. Every time you use your backpack, you see it and you associate them with those values. So those are a few ideas how you can use a right wording, a right images, and right placing of images to help your brand being perceived in a way you want it to be perceived. Now let's uh, look at some different brands, and I have two of the more luxurious in a feel. First of them is very Poshmark Berlin, and they use those two bottles are hair care products, but you couldn't see apart from this one strand of hair in the middle, you don't really see the imaginary you usually would see in a hair care products advertisement. Instead, they went for abstract luxury photos with black page and gold details. That is a royal combination of colors. They protrude this amazingly luxury feel in just one photo. And the fact is that this is, I think, just a shampoo or a hair care oil or something. But they managed to make it look like jewels. So they're very good with conveying a message that what you're buying is a luxury product that will make you feel uh, well. You can tell me how does it make you feel in the chat if you want to. But they're very distinctively cut themselves from ordinary product and showing how amazing and how upper class their product is. Another thing, and this is a bit a sneaky one, because if you want to play a game, could you guys tell me what are those things, the earrings here and the ring? What does it look for you like? Because I would say makes you feel pretty, say Steve. Yeah. Thank you. Okay, so those things, that's glass. They look like jewels, they look like gemstones, but Swarovski company is known for making glass, and those are glass beads, glass crystals. Yes, they're high-end glass, it's very pretty and so, but you can even see they frame the model into a traditional gemstone cut to imitate a real gemstone. So despite the fact that they're selling glass beads, they make it feel luxurious and very expensive. And their whole message, if you look at the header, if you look at the visuals here, the whole message is about posh and luxurious feel, even though they started with making chandeliers crystals, and they're not that far away from it. So you can see how much the presentation and the feel of the brand is doing for perceiving the items that you're selling. Because most people, when looking at those products, would say they're just gemstones. And now, if you don't know where to start, if you think that your name is not like marketable enough, if you think that your logo is not modern or brilliant or worthy to say to the world, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter what your name is. It doesn't really matter what your logo is, as long as you make people associate them with great quality, good service, and if you can add some feelings like Red Bull or the North Face or Swarovski, then then it is an added value. Look at the Swarovski. I will turn back a moment. Look at Swarovski's logo. They are very, very simple. It's just a word. They didn't even bother with a fancy logo. But let me show you a few interesting examples. Osram is the German company that making electric lights. But in fact, this word that's come from osmium and wolfram, which are names of two components that were widely used in production of light bulbs in early 90s when the company was founded. In a way, it's a very brilliant name to give your company if you're producing light bulb, but it happens also to be a very unfortunate word in Polish. Because if I would address you, dear audience, with the word Osram, then I think after the webinar, my manager would like a word with me because it means in a very, very street way fashion, I'll poop. And despite that, despite the worst name ever you can imagine for a company in Poland, especially for the things that just hang around over your head, they're doing great. They're selling tons of stuff. They're one of the most popular electric lights companies in Polish market. So they're a very great example to show you that it really doesn't matter what the name is, as long as you sell quality and sell it well. Another funny example is the Formula One. You may heard of this sport, you know, the cars going around in circles. They redesigned their logo just a few years ago, and people were making fun that of the logo that it depicts a two-lane street. And if you look at the lane in the middle of the F, it really looks like a two-lane street, like just a little lane. And the fact is, the racing circuits Well, they don't have lanes because they're just one way. That's for once, and it would be slippery. So there are no lanes on any racing circuit. People made a bit of fun of it online, but it didn't hurt the business in any way. So even if your logo is not the best, even if your name is not the best, just don't stress and say yes. If you don't know where to start, you can go to some free resources like color pickers. You can look at some beautiful color schemes that are pre-made. You can pick for example, for your logo color and check what colors goes well with it. You can go and look for some pictures to enforce the feel of your brand that you want to show. There are very many free resources you can use to inspire your journey. And Michał has just shared them for you in the chat. So feel free to explore, and I hope you'll find something inspiring there. Now, when it comes to GetResponse, how we can help you with building your brand identity. First of all, your online presence is the most important thing here, because if you're selling things online, then your website or your shop is the first point of entry and the place that people will spend the most time on. So we can offer a website designs. The images you see here are our pre-made templates. So you can literally, with one click, import them and edit them in any way you want. And if you don't have an idea how to build a shop or a page that will convey your message well, then you can start with a pre-made design and then customize it as you go to find something that will work for you and your brand. And as you can see, those templates can be added to include your custom colors, to include your custom imagery. You can create a global design like this little palette here. This is used page-wise, the site-wise. So every color you will pick, from those color pickers I have shown earlier, and you can find in chats and link, you can put them here and try and start building a page on it. Uh, when you have a page, when you have the set, then you can go into email marketing. And if you send emails, it's easy to send the default emails from your shop, for example, because every shop comes with transactional emails. For example, you can see an abandoned cart email here on the right. And look how much more of a message it is in itself. How much it says about the brand and about the customers and about the product without even reading all of this. So if you compare it to the default message that comes with your shop that is plain, has no branding, has no visuals in it, you can see the difference that one message can make if you send them right. If you have an ongoing theme on your page, like for example, you go with the fun and creative and stuff that is not too serious, you can go with email designs that goes well with it, and you can continue the journey from your website through your email marketing. As you can see here, GetResponse have pre-made templates to different types of brands, different feels of brands, different vibes, and you can even browse through them to find something that would work for your brand in general. If you like this first message, but you prefer it to be green, then you have an idea. You have something you like, and you have something that maybe fits your brand. So if you have a free GetResponse account or in general GetResponse account, go explore the templates and you can find something amazing you can build from. That also goes with our forms and pop-ups. Please look at this form below. This is very, very strong message. It's a very striking contrast and it's very eye-catching. Brand identity is not only about what colors you use, but also how you want to grab attention. And if anything, this form shows you how to grab attention very efficiently because it's very, very strong. If you don't like it, if it doesn't suit your brand, that you may want to go to something different. Think who your audience is, think what would work for them, what you would like to see being in their shoes, what you would like to feel when you're buying your own products, and then you can build visuals that can convey this message and it can help you to appeal to your own customers. So, in general, let's summarize a few things. Building your brand identity is a process. Don't feel like you have to do it all today, right away. Build what you want to use first before implementing it, so you will be sure that you won't have to change anything on the way or change anything later. Dive into the resources we recommended, check what you like, check what will fit, check what your competitors are doing, and then start to build from this. Find what defines your brand. Find what makes you stand out from the crowd. What is your greatest value? What's the best thing you want to offer? What's the best thing your customers are saying in their reviews of your brand? And use that to your advantage. It's also a good idea to share a bit of your story. If you are able to, it doesn't work for all brands, but for some it will. If you're able to make your customer feel like they're a part of your story. Like if you started small and then gain more customers based on the quality you offer, let them know that you grow because of them, that you grow because of their trust. And also be consistent. If you just design one beautiful website, but your email communication and your packaging and every other thing you do, social media feed, is not consistent, that it will be easy. That would be easy to detach the page from the communication. And what you want to achieve is to create this one coherent thing that people connect with you and recognize your content no matter when they see it. Also, don't feel pressure to always follow business trends. Business trends can be great. They can help you to boost sales or generate new leads. But if you are unique and if you feel very strongly about the uniqueness being your strength, that don't lose that in the process. You use the trends to your advantage, but don't let them rule how you perceive your brand. And that's it from my side. We have another awesome guest, and I'll give the mic to her now. Thank you guys for hearing me out.
Thanks, Magdalena, for a wonderful intro into brand identity. Now I'll take over, and before we move into the packaging and how you actually can take advantage of that medium and why this is one of the most powerful channels where you can convey your brand identity, I wanted to quickly share with you some of my learnings from the audit that we ran recently at Packhelp. And these are a bunch of exercises, or if you put them together, a process that you can use to learn more about your brand and either build it from scratch or refresh it, update it, because most of the time we touch on some aspects of brand like the visuals or the design of website, but how to actually analyze a brand as a whole was actually a task that I've been given at Packhelp some months ago, and here are a few exercises that you can run within your brands. So the first thing is something that Magdalena already mentioned, something where you can draw an inspiration from, or you can learn a trends in a certain industry, is obviously mapping your competitors. So you look at who's competing with you in a certain segment, and you try to understand how they position their brands, what they are promising, because like if you compete in one space, let's stick to the outdoor brands that Magdalena was mentioning. For example, what is the difference between the North Face and a Jack Wolfskin? Because they are still within the same segment, but they do certain things to make them feel different. So this is especially important if your brand is in a very competitive space where actually branding is something that makes you stand out. So that's the first thing. And I think knowing your competitors is just the first step, but actually understanding how how they fit into a framework of archetypes, brand archetypes, is a second thing and a next step actually in thinking about the brand. So once you do the analysis and research on the of competitors, you can use some framework like this one to put them into certain buckets, and it will help you understand where is most of your competitors and what are the potential gaps that you might want to fill in, because this is how usually you want to build your brand or make sure that you are different from the competitors. So you can use the archetypes framework built by Jung, which actually resembles the personality type. So it's very easy and intuitive to follow, and put your competitors and also your own brand on this circular thing to understand where you fit and where your competitors fit. So that's one of the things you can do. The second thing is obviously mapping your current positioning and learning more about your brand. Where are you at the moment? Because if you want to change something, if you want to update something, you need to know where you're currently at. And I think that's very important and often omitted step by many brands I see. You can also look at the trends and opportunities that you see for a brand. Maybe there is a certain external opportunity that presented itself that you can tap into. Third thing, serving your clients and prospects. It might be an obvious, but I know many companies are actually, and brands are actually a bit afraid of that because it's time consuming, and often we don't know how our clients and prospects will react towards questions about our brand. But I definitely recommend running the survey, because your clients will tell you exactly what they love or hate about your brand. And this is something you can leverage in building a very strong brand. So here are just a few questions that we, for example, at Packhelp, we actually threw them into a survey that we shared with our clients and prospects. And it was actually a very cool learning to see why our clients are choosing us, for what reasons they would recommend us to, people on similar positions, how they associate us, but also what competitors they use along with Packhelp. Fourth thing is, if you have a team that you're working with on a brand, you can run a workshop with them and actually talk about how they perceive your brand, how they feel about your brand. A tool I really recommend is actually playing a brand deck cards. This is a set of cards with different personality attributes, and you flip through them, choosing which one you would like to associate with a brand and which is opposite from your brand. And you have to end up with only 5 cards. It's available online, but also you can order a deck offline. So a very cool exercise if you want to frame a conversation about a brand within your team or stakeholders or even your customers. Also, the thing I've done was going through why, how, what framework with team at Packhelp and doing the personality assessment. So I was actually asking them questions in order to place a Packhelp on personalities framework, the circular rainbow thing that I just showed you, which allowed me to better place Packhelp against our competitors. So these are just a few exercises I've done recently in order to understand Packhelp brand better and actually how we should be updating it. And I hope you find them useful, and I hope you use them within your brands, because it all starts with conceptualizing the brand, actually personalizing it and thinking how you want to present it into the world before choosing the mediums and colors and visuals. But moving to visuals, I want to also share with you a little bit about moving brand identity from online to offline. So we'll be talking about the packaging and why it matters. It's because realize it or not, this is the only medium that reaches 100% of your customers, and it's a medium that you should leverage. Now, if you have a physical product, I hope you'll find it useful. But if not, then you can, I really, really, really encourage you to start noticing packaging around you and do this exercise of what this tells me about a certain brand. Because I think when I started working with Packhelp almost 2 years ago, I suddenly started noticing packaging. It's everywhere. And it has a lot of functions, but it's also a very powerful medium for conveying a certain brand feel, a brand messaging. So yeah, I hope this will give you some food for thought on packaging. So something that was already mentioned, consistency, which is a key thing in branding. So how to keep my brand identity consistent across packaging? Well, you need to transfer your brand feel into the packaging. So you can ask yourself a couple of questions. How do I want people to feel when they interact with my brand, with my packaging? What are the values my brand stands for, and how to transfer them into the packaging? So let's say sustainability is very important for your brand. You have a product that's being produced in a sustainable way, then how do you transfer this value into the packaging? Maybe your value is simplicity and your product is stripping something from complexity. So how do you transfer that into the packaging? And last but not least, what kind of story does my packaging tell? What kind of message I want to convey into my customers? What kind of language I use to speak to them? Is it funny? Is it serious? Is it informative? Is it clear? And, things like that. But it all builds to your brand identity. And here is a first image that I want you to capture, and feel free to tell me in a chat what is the feel that you're getting from looking at this packaging. Essentially, the product here takes a very low percentage of photography. These are vitamins produced by one of our clients, always. So how do you feel when you're looking at it? What kind of attributes do you associate with the packaging? Feel free to put something in the chat. There are no wrong or right answers. It's actually how you feel when you interact with a certain packaging. So I see some people typing. That's very cool. I'll wait for your answers to come through. But as you can see on this picture, there are a lot of elements that this brand used. So there is the outer packaging they use to even convey some message. So you have a message on top of your box. There is a little message when you open the box. There is a product packaging, so the rigid box, which is sturdy, which tells us about the quality, and simple jar, which is the most commonly used packaging product for vitamins. So there is a certain feel to this picture that is associated with a brand. And then the second picture, that's a brand within a same industry. They do health and beauty products for a different group, but I'm not gonna share it just yet what the group is. So now how you feel when you interact with this packaging? How is it different? Or maybe it's the same. Feel free to also let me know in the chat how you feel about this packaging. Essentially, if you would look at the construction, this is the same type of box. So it's 2 pieces rigid box, very common solution in beauty and healthcare, but the feel that you get is very different. Of course, the photography, the background, how the products are staged are very different, but it's a different feel. So Kind, now I'm going to share this, is a brand for moms and their babies, and they produce different kind of cosmetic products, and they're very natural. So that's why they used craft materials to for a rigid box that is usually made of glossy materials and has a little bit high-end finishes. So as you can see, these are the same boxes, the ones on the left, construction-wise, the ones, the one that you see on this slide, but they give a very different feel. And essentially, this is what you're trying to capture with mindfully building brand identity of your product. Even though this is the same industry, products are a little bit different, but they have different groups, different messaging, different logo placement, different materials. So it gives a completely different feel. So how to keep it consistent with your, how to keep your packaging consistent with your brand identity? What are some of the things that you should keep in mind? First of all, your logo placement. So there are a few options that you can go with. Most popular is center placement, center logo placement for symmetry. It's the easiest way to design your packaging, to brand it. It's also very pleasant for our eyes and also not complicated, so it fits well with minimalistic brands, for example. There is also high placement and low placement. So it's high placement is associated with exclusive products. So something that you could have seen in Oase, they place their logo on top of the packaging. Low placement usually has a bit different associations, so it's associated with more accessible products, and there is no right or wrong solution here. It's what your brand should stand for and what kind of values should represent. You can always play with your logo, with placing it. You can make a pattern out of it. That's actually one of the trends recently on placing it on tissue paper, for example, but also on the product boxes or mailer boxes. On the left, you can see an example of a center placement, and on the right, there is an example of Raylo, which is a company that offers different electronics in subscription models. So the accessibility was very important for them. So that's why the lower placement of the logo on the packaging. Besides logo, you need to think about materials and finishes, something that I was trying to explain earlier with Oase and So Kind. The two same construction types of packaging, but because of use of different materials, they convey a little bit different feeling, and hence the choice to use different materials. So the most common is cardboard and all kind of craft materials without extra finishes. It's the most, in most of the cases, is the most sustainable packaging material that you can choose. So if sustainability is important for you, craft materials and cardboard should be your option. But there are also many other finishes that you can use to highlight your brand feel. For example, if you have a luxurious product, then usually debossing or embossing is finishing touch for you. You can see it on the right here. It presses your packaging it presses the for example your logo or some kind of a tagline onto a material of your packaging, or it puts it a little bit above. And why I said this usually is used by luxurious brands is because it resembles the wax stamp. So there is a feel and association of quality with such packaging finishes. But on the left, on the other hand, you see a very simple craft packaging that already brings a feeling of naturality and simplicity into mind when you're looking at it. And maybe those are the values and the feel that you should go for. The picture on the left is packaging of one of our clients. They produce sustainable soy candles, and they are very playful in their communication, which you can see with a little copy on top of packaging. Another tactic to better convey the brand identity in your packaging is obviously using colors. And they should obviously reflect your color palette. So if you have a simplistic brand and, for example, you're mainly using 2 colors in your communication, then be simple in your packaging as well. But if you're playful with colors and the design, then you can opt for solutions like gradients. It's also a way to stand out if your packaging is an important part of, for example, your social media feed. You use it in ads, or you compete in regular shelves with different products. Then maybe going for something that really pops out on the shelf or in the feed is your strategy that you should choose. Hence, I put here gradients, which I think is very nice trend, especially in beauty and healthcare, but also health supplements. More and more brands are going for gradient packaging, which is very nice to an eye. And I know this seems like a lot, and I'm throwing here like strategies for logo placements, the choice of materials and extra finishes, and then the colors. And it seems like a lot, but I also wanted to ensure you that customization can be easy. And if you're looking for a custom packaging, you can use our online editor, which is like a Canva for packaging. So you just go and you drag and drop different colors or your logo, and voila, you have the packaging that's custom and reflects your brand identity. There are also many other tools that you can use to convey your brand feel. And here are some of the things that you can consider customizing, or you can start noticing when ordering stuff online or interacting with different packaging. So some of the most common tactics for customization is branding the stickers or tapes. You can either use your logo as a pattern, as a motif that repeats. You can use a sticker to ensure better sealing of your package. And it's usually on the lower side of the budget. So these are usually cheaper solutions. You can obviously go full in and provide a fully custom experience with branded packaging. And obviously the price here will vary depending on how much of packaging surface you want to print, whether you want to add extra finishes. But this would be the solution I'd recommend if you're in certain industries, or if you are already very strong about what kind of brand you want to build and what kind of feel you want to convey. If you're still experimenting, maybe don't invest everything into having full branded boxes, but definitely that's that's the option that really stands out to customers, and they remember interacting with packaging that's beautifully branded, that has print all over it, some message inside, and extra finishing touches. That's also on the like lower side of the budget, I'd say. You have options to add a lot of thing into your packaging. You can use fillers, you can use tissue paper, you can use thank you cards, or actually any cards, leaflets you want to add to your packaging. And this also adds up to a certain brand feel that you want to give to people. I think fillers are one of my favorite examples because they're very easy. I think everyone here has probably received a packaging that was excessive. So you ordered, let's say, a pen, and you received a huge packaging filled with foil, some rubbish. And obviously, the feeling that you're getting is, oh my God, like they don't care about my experience at all. What a wasteful company. This doesn't make sense. Instead, if you would receive a packaging size that's more tailored to a product that you order with a paper as a filler, that already gives you a very, very different feeling to a brand. So two last things that I want to mention, some strategies that you can elevate the experience for your clients with a brand, is some personal touch. So you can add a card, either mentioning the name of a customer or who completed the order. It's a little space to get personal. I think that's very important for the brands that are just starting, because you really want to build loyal client base. And the second thing are QR codes. I could go full in with technologies for packaging, but I'm not sure if they are accessible for everyone here. But QR codes are like, there are free generators for that you can use easily, and it's your way to actually send your customers where you want them to send, whether it's some kind of a coupon, or maybe it's mobile commerce and you want them to shop more, maybe it's instruction how to dispose packaging. It's really up to you and to your brand goals, but QR code is a very simple way to send people to a place you want them to be after receiving your product. And yes, I think that's it. Thank you so much for listening. And if anyone has any questions about packaging and strategies there, happy to answer.
Thanks a lot, Magda, and thank you for sharing these wonderful ideas based on your experience back in Packhelp. Really big fan of beautiful packaging, and I noticed people mention Apple products. Apple products definitely come in nice packaging. All the pictures that you shared as well. But like, if you ever join a company, especially in tech, those welcome boxes, they're all stunning, and it's a great feeling when the boxes come in a the products come in a beautiful packaging. It makes you feel nice about the choices you make. Before we go over to a quick Q&A session, looking at the time now, I'd like to make sure that you all know that we have a special offer. Both Packhelp and GetResponse have prepared something for today. So if you're ever interested in taking the first step in e-commerce and you'd like to use GetResponse, then we've got a 20% off discount on all the plans for the first year. Just visit getresponse.com/go and enter the code that you've got over there. Let me share a link with you also on the chat. Hold on. And then got it here. And if you'd like to try with Packhelp, you'll also get a 10% discount of your first order. And to redeem that, go to packhelp.com. Use the code brand10 at checkout, or visit this link that I'm sharing at the bottom on the chat as well. And as promised, we've got a quick Q&A session. If you happen to have any questions, feel free to ask them now in the chat. And just ahead of time, I'm just going to remind you all that you'll receive the recording soon from our today's session, because everything is being recorded. So let me check if there are any questions in the chat. If not, we will be able to save you 3 minutes of the hour. So let's have a look. Um, if not, let me thank you all for joining us for today. I hope you've learned a lot. I definitely have, and I loved all the examples that have been discussed here. I'm a big fan of good design. Never thought twice about it though. So it's good to notice these things and see that nothing has been designed by these specialists just by coincidence. That even labels inside a backpack, even boxes that products come to us with, even the tape that surrounds the box, all of it has been thought through, and it does make sense. It does extend your brand across multiple vehicles. So you can definitely do all those things as well using multiple tools, including GetResponse and Packhelp here. So seeing that there are no other questions, let me just thank you all once again for joining us today. Thank you, Magda and Magdalena, for sharing your wonderful ideas, examples, and coming here to just discuss everything around brand identity. We'll be sharing the recording with everyone shortly, and I do hope that you'll enjoy the rest of your day today and that we'll be hearing from you soon, and we'll definitely be reaching out to you soon. So once again, thank you. Have a wonderful day. Bye.